If you are just about to give up on a dream, you've had this dream, you've done everything that you know how to do, nothing has happened, and you think maybe this just isn't for me, then this story is for you. I found myself in that type of place on top of a mountain about 5 years ago. I was with one of my friends, we were hiking in Peru, and the whole goal of this trip was to hike and get to the end and then climb this big mountain. That's, we're like leading up to this place. And the trip was amazing. We're having such a great time. And the night before our big mountain hike, I ate something that did not agree with me. And I had really bad food poisoning, which is just another funny story in and of itself. But the point is, I felt really bad the next day. I could hardly walk. I was exhausted. I just felt terrible. Like the idea of walking on the flat ground was exhausting. So trying to climb this mountain in the physical state that I was in was just, it wasn't going well. So we're like halfway up this mountain. We start the hike. I'm trying to do it anyways. I'm like, I came all this way. I'm going to make it to the top of this mountain. My friend is trying to be a good friend and stay with me, but I'm really slowing her down, and you only have a certain amount of time to get to the top of this mountain. So I just told her halfway through, I'm like, just leave me behind, keep going, like you make it. At least one of us needs to make it to the top. If I make it, great. If I don't, it's fine, but you go ahead. So she went ahead, and I'm just like slowly crawling up this mountain, feeling terrible. Everything in my body was hurting. And I really tried my best. I made it up to a certain point. I had no idea where I was on this mountain. I just knew that it had already been too long. And I see this big rock and sort of a clearing, and I just decided I'm gonna just give up. I'm gonna sit on this rock. I'm going to wait for my friend to come back down. I have no idea how far I am from the top, but I cannot physically go on. I just can't do it. I have nothing left to give inside of my body and my willpower. I'm out. So I sat down and I was thinking about the whole experience, and I started to sort of have this conversation with what I attribute to as God, whatever that means to you, a higher power, a loving higher self, whatever it is. But to me, my language for that is God. And so I was having this conversation like, okay, this is an interesting thing that's happening. And I guess the lesson from this, if I'm looking for some meaning in this right now, is sometimes it's okay to just give up. That's fine. You've done all you can do. I gave it my best, and I'm just here to learn that sometimes you can just give up. That's fine. And I was like, if I'm okay with that, I'm at peace with not making it to the top of this mountain. If I'm getting something out of this, it's that you can do your best and allow yourself to rest. You do not have to kill yourself to get to the top of this mountain. I was like, that's a great lesson. I'm good with it. But if there's any sign that I should keep going, or that this is what I'm meant to learn from this, I welcome it. If there's a sign that I'm meant to continue, send it. If not, I'm gonna sit here, I'm at peace with it, and I'll wait for my friend, and we'll go down and I'll be good. So not long after this prayer conversation, I'm sitting on the rock, and this beautiful woman comes up to sit next to me. She's probably in her 60s, in great shape, and she spoke Spanish. I'm not sure where she was from, but she spoke Spanish. And so she just sat with me for a minute and didn't say anything. But it was very intimate. It was sort of oddly intimate to just be the two of us sitting on this rock together, really pretty close to each other. Not saying anything. I thought she was just resting. And after maybe 30, 40 seconds, she looks at me, and she's kind of signals like, all right, we're gonna keep going, like we gotta keep going. And I'm signaling, no, I cannot continue. I'm like pointing at my stomach. I'm like, I'm so sick, I can't go on. And she's like, oh, okay. And she seems like she understands. And she doesn't go on her own. She stays with me for another maybe minute or two. And then she looks at me after a couple of minutes into my eyes and just says, vamos, which is let's go. And I was like, no, I can't. I'm not going. And she looked at me again with such seriousness and conviction and kindness and said, vamos. And I was like, okay. So we get up and I start walking up the trail, and I realize I am literally 3 minutes from the top of this mountain. So close to the top, I had no idea. Make it to the top just in time, snap a picture of my friend, and we walk down. So my takeaway from that experience was, one, yes, it is okay to rest. It's okay to give up on something if you have tried everything that you can think of, mentally, physically, on your end. You've done your best. That is okay. You can have peace in that decision to let something go. And there are times when we are 3 minutes from the top, 3 minutes from the top, and we have no idea. And our only option might be to simply ask for a sign, for some kind of miracle, for some guidance from above, and just see what happens. See if anything comes into your awareness when you just ask, let it go to something greater than you. I've done all I can do. Is there any signal, any sign that you can send me, and just see what happens?